craft beer industry in Richmond and things like that. But what I realized is you're only going to get assignments that people need, and you don't go to newspapers and propose stuff a lot of the time because they have their own kind of ebb and flow, and they know what they want and what they need. So I decided I was just going to give in. I'm just going to do whatever you assign me to do. And what I found is that those things actually became interesting if I was interested in them. They became more interesting, and I always got fodder for my other writing that I was doing. And so now I don't mind, getting the assignment for that wedding or something, because I usually find out something about that family that's really interesting, or I meet somebody there I hadn't expected to meet. And so even though I haven't been a full-time journalist like you were, the freelancing has been significant enough that it's really helped my creative writing juices.
It pays the bills.
Yes.
And that's the big thing, is that it pays the bills.
Yeah.
And not only that, and I'm not a journalist, but it is a platform. It is a way of reaching a lot of people, and sure, you're not going to be doing a lot of self-promotion if you're, doing the piece on, whatever story, but there are ways of sticking things in the byline and such where, you can get in some self-promotion to a lot of people. We did a thing called Author Fest in Virginia Beach, where we had 20 authors that came together and, had basically a meet and greet kind of thing. And the one thing that brought in the most people was a little article about it in the Beacon, which is the insert on Sunday, which I didn't know many people would read, but that was the thing. Everybody that came in said, "Oh yeah, I saw this in the Beacon." So if you're out there writing, you're being seen by more people than you probably know.
Good question.
I have a question. How would you advise beginning writers or young writers in how best to handle rejection? Because obviously you all have risen to where you are, but I'm sure that you've had your share of rejection.
I was rejected by 86 agents on my first book, and I dealt with it by finding a different way, and went self-publishing and learned everything I could about that and the process, and did it myself. Right now, you have the ability, better than ever before in the history of mankind, to put it out yourself. But you need to do it well. You need to do it right. So there's more to it. You have to follow the same procedure that a traditional publisher uses. They do it that way because it's what's expected, and it turns out a good product. Regardless of what you do, you have to turn out a good product, or the whole thing is an exercise in futility.
I would just say never give up, never surrender. Right? You get the work back after you've sent it out, and different people do it different ways. If you can send it out the next day or the same day, don't let it spend the night under your roof. That's the way I roll these days. I didn't used to do it. I used to egg it. Oh no, I'm just going to reject it. This and that, and no more. It's not you they're rejecting. It is the work.
Yeah, that too. I've got in my basement 3 boxes, big ledger-style boxes, and 2 of them have, it's all my novelist work. 2 of them have short stories, and 1 has a novel. None of them have ever seen the light of day. In fact, in my will, I have it written that as soon as I die, I want them to burn that novel. Because I never want to see that novel see the light of day. It is a 685-page piece of shit.
You might be better off burning it down.
That question always comes up. Why don't you burn it now? Because you don't take 5 years of work and casually throw it into a fireplace. It took 5 years on that book, and I just can't see doing it. I don't have that kind of guts. Somebody's besides, for a while I used to have this recurring nightmare, and fortunately it finally stopped, but I had this recurring nightmare that I was having a deadline was approaching And I had not, it was like the variation on the, oh my God, it's at the end of the term and I haven't written a term paper. This is what happens to writers. Oh my God, there's a deadline approaching and I haven't turned in the book. Well, I've got this 685-page piece of shit done here. I'll turn that in. So that's kind of it. I think the way to handle rejection is, first the story makes the circuit, and you put it out there, send it to every place that you can. And you know something? I still get rejected. I mean, I've got a story out there now that's already been to two major two magazines. Both of them have published me before, both of which the editors are not just friends, they're good friends. Both of them turned down the story, so now it's in a third place. I still get rejections. And what I do is that, and I'll tell you what's going to happen. If it makes a complete circuit, if nobody wants that story, I'm going to take it and I'm going to look at it and say something went wrong. What went wrong? And I analyze it. And I may even show it to some people and say, something happened here. Can you tell me what went wrong? And then I'll try to fix it. That's a lot of how I learned to write from the very beginning. It's trial and error. There is no such thing as overnight success in this. Everybody has rejection. I mean, only one writer who I've ever met has sold on the first try, and that's John Varley. Even the guys who claimed that they sold the first time, they're usually lying. I mean, that's the thing with Tom Clancy. Tom Clancy sold Hunt for Red October, and he claimed, oh, I'd only written one article once before, and that was an article for the Progress or whatever. Yeah, and then later, much later, after he became a legitimate best-selling writer, he gave an interview with Rolling Stone, and he fessed up that 4 of the novels that he had published since then were all trunk books that he had put away, and they were published afterwards. Again, you keep raising your hand. What would you like?
Well, about the book that you don't want to burn, if you actually keep it around as like, oh, now I understand why this is so bad, that would be good. But as far as something in the past, and you don't want to just burn 5 years worth of work, I lost over 30 years to clinical depression, wishing for a terminal illness. Mm-hmm. Every day I get up early so I can burn that every day. Mm-hmm. That's as far as experience goes. That was about it.
Yeah.
But Babe Ruth, also known as the strikeout king, but what do people remember before hitting home runs?
Right.
At some point, you may be able to come out with the long version of the Eye of Argon. Like, here, guys, have fun with this.
Yeah.
We're about to run out of time. So I'm sorry to cut off the questioning because I want to give each of our panelists a chance to a little wrap up and or a plug of something that you either have coming out or your next event or when you're going to do a reading or something of that nature. So Jack, let's start with you.
Just quickly about rejection. I decided, I looked in a box of the rejections for my first novel, and there were probably 100 and something